Welcome back to Narrations. Tonight's story is fast-talking, city-lit, and deceptively soft. Set It Up looks like a workplace comedy about overworked assistants, but at its heart, it's about ambition, burnout, vulnerability, and the quiet way love sneaks in when you're too busy trying to survive. This is the story of Harper Moore and Charlie Young. New York never turns off. That's the first thing Harper Moore learned when she moved there. The city hums constantly. Traffic, emails, deadlines, ambitions colliding in glass buildings that never go dark. It's intoxicating if you're chasing something. It's suffocating if you're not sure what you're chasing anymore. Harper works on the 49th floor of a sleek Manhattan building, assistant to Kirsten Stevens, a high-profile sports journalist whose reputation is built on precision and pressure. Kirsten doesn't yell often. She doesn't need to. Her silence is worse. Her raised eyebrow more devastating than volume. Harper's job isn't listed clearly anywhere. Officially, she manages schedules and logistics. In reality, she manages Kirsten's entire emotional climate. If Kirsten is irritated, Harper absorbs it. If flights are delayed, Harper reroutes them. If articles need rewriting at midnight, Harper stays. She eats lunch at her desk, if she eats at all. She times her bathroom breaks between calls. She sleeps slightly, phone charging within reach, ready for the vibration that signals another demand. Harper once believed this was proximity to greatness. Now it feels like proximity to burnout. She moved to New York because she loves writing. She wants to edit, to shape stories, to have her voice matter. But somewhere between calendar invites and coffee orders, her dreams became background noise. She tells herself this is temporary. She just needs to last a little longer. Across town, in a polished venture capital firm, Charlie Young is living the same story with a different boss. Rick Otis is brilliant and volatile. He moves through rooms with charm that evaporates the moment the door closes. To investors, he's visionary. To Charlie, he's relentless. Rick's demands arrive without warning, last-minute meetings, impossible tasks, sudden flights. Charlie has learned to read Rick's moods the way others read weather forecasts. When to speak. When to stay silent. When to apologize for things he didn't do. Charlie once imagined this job as apprenticeship. A stepping stone toward financial independence and power. Instead, it feels like endurance training. Charlie misses dinners with friends. Cancels dates. Keeps conversations short because he might be interrupted at any moment. He's good at his job, too good. Rick trusts him with everything and respects him for nothing. The first time Harper and Charlie meet, it isn't romantic. It's chaotic. They're both racing to pick up late-night takeout for their bosses, different restaurants, same exhaustion. A misunderstanding at the counter leaves them standing in the same small space, frustration simmering just beneath politeness. They look at each other and recognize something instantly. Not attraction. Recognition. The dark circles. The clip phone answers. The way both of them are texting bosses while pretending to be present. They're in the same battle. A few sarcastic comments turn into conversation. Conversation turns into commiseration. Harper jokes that if their bosses had someone to distract them, maybe they'd stop terrorizing their assistants. Charlie laughs. Then pauses. What if they did? The idea feels ridiculous at first. Manipulative. Risky. Immature. But desperation makes bold ideas seem reasonable. If Kirsten and Rick were dating, even casually, they might soften. Cancel fewer meetings. Leave earlier. Be distracted enough to loosen their grip. Harper and Charlie begin mapping it out like a business plan. Step 1. Identify common ground. Step 2. Manufacture coincidence. Step 3. Let chemistry do the rest. They begin carefully. A dinner reservation placed strategically. A mutual interest mentioned casually. A random introduction at the right moment. Harper studies Rick's personality through Charlie's complaints. Charlie observes Kirsten's habits through Harper's anecdotes. They meet late at night to debrief. At first, it's strictly tactical. But these meetings become the only moments in their week that don't feel like servitude. They talk about more than bosses. Harper admits she's not sure she wants to become Kirsten. That ambition without softness frightens her. That she worries about losing herself before she even finds herself. Charlie confesses that he's tired of measuring success by someone else's approval. That he wants more than money, he wants autonomy. There's something relieving about speaking honestly without being evaluated. Rick and Kirsten begin responding to the setup. They banter. Argue. Spark. Harper and Charlie watch from a distance, proud of their orchestration. But something else is happening quietly. They start looking forward to seeing each other. The texts stretch beyond updates. The jokes become inside references. Harper notices how Charlie listens fully when she speaks. Charlie notices how Harper laughs without filtering when she's relaxed. Neither names it. Because naming it would complicate the one relationship in their life that feels uncomplicated. But as their bosses grow closer, Harper and Charlie find themselves standing closer too. And the question shifts from, "Can we control this?" to something far more dangerous. What if this isn't just strategy anymore? The plan works. That's the first problem. Rick and Kirsten don't just flirt, they ignite. What started as engineered proximity turns into genuine chemistry. Their banter sharpens into tension. Tension softens into dates. Dates turn into nights that don't end at the office. For the first time since Harper and Charlie began their jobs, their bosses leave early. Phones go unanswered for whole evenings. Schedules loosen. And suddenly, Harper and Charlie have something unfamiliar. Time. At first, they don't know what to do with it. They sit in diners too long. Walk through the city without rushing. Share stories that don't revolve around damage control. Harper talks about the novel she's half-written but never finishes because exhaustion always wins. Charlie admits he once wanted to start his own company but got comfortable chasing someone else's success. The city feels different when you're not sprinting through it. Quieter. Warmer. They begin to see each other outside the context of their bosses. Harper notices that Charlie isn't just patient, he's thoughtful. He thinks before he speaks. He pays attention to the small things she mentions. He respects ambition but questions obsession. Charlie notices that Harper's sarcasm hides vulnerability. That her drive comes from fear of being overlooked. That she's kinder than she allows herself to be at work. Their partnership shifts. Less plotting. More presence. But control is fragile. Rick and Kirsten's relationship begins revealing cracks. They're both used to dominance. Used to being the center of the room. Used to winning arguments instead of resolving them. Passion morphs into power struggle quickly. Harper and Charlie watch uneasily. Because if their bosses implode, the fallout lands on them. Tension builds. Rick suspects manipulation. Kirsten grows suspicious of coincidences. And when the truth finally surfaces, that their assistants orchestrated their connection, the explosion is swift. It isn't just anger. It's betrayal. Rick feels humiliated. Kirsten feels manipulated. Their egos are wounded, and wounded egos lash out. Harper and Charlie are fired. Just like that. Months of endurance erased in a single confrontation. The plan that was supposed to save them instead costs them everything. In the aftermath, silence feels heavy. Harper spirals first, not because she lost her job, but because she questions her judgment. She wanted control. Wanted relief. And in chasing it, she crossed a line she didn't fully acknowledge at the time. Charlie wrestles with his own disappointment. Not just in Rick. In himself. He tells Harper they should have trusted their instincts instead of engineering outcomes. That shortcuts rarely lead where you think they will. The argument that follows isn't loud. It's honest. Harper accuses Charlie of being too cautious. Charlie accuses Harper of being too impulsive. Underneath the surface lies something deeper: fear. Fear of starting over. Fear of failure. Fear that maybe they aren't as capable as they thought. And then comes the realization neither can ignore. They weren't happiest when the plan worked. They were happiest when they were together. Without pressure. Without manipulation. Just two people breathing easier in each other's presence. Harper recognizes that ambition doesn't have to mean self-erasure. That success achieved through burnout isn't success at all. Charlie understands that waiting for permission to want more is just another way of staying small. They reconnect not with grand gestures, but with clarity. Charlie tells Harper he doesn't want to spend his life assisting someone else's ego. Harper admits she doesn't want to become the kind of boss she once feared. They choose differently. Charlie begins pursuing his own ideas, not as rebellion, but as reclamation. Harper steps toward writing, finally, even if it's uncertain. And when they choose each other, it isn't strategic. It isn't convenient. It isn't part of a larger plan. It's simple. They like who they are when they're together. And that's enough. Set It Up isn't really about matchmaking. It's about reclaiming your own life from someone else's expectations. Sometimes the most important setup isn't between two powerful people. It's between the version of yourself you've been surviving and the version you're ready to become. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.